Yes, let's go. Absolutely. Let us go. Let us begin. Excuse me, one moment. Hold on. Let me turn down my TV. You are probably currently watching the premiere of the video in which we discuss Samisha Williams' statements. She's a former director for the village of Dalton, and her statements were about Tiffany Henyard muting the mics during meetings or having mock meetings where the directors practiced muting the mics. The directors were muting the mics during the board meetings. So if you want to look at where the mic issues are coming from in the board meetings today, look at the directors, because one of the former directors has said that they practiced muting those mics during mock trials or mock board meetings. Anyway, the reason we are gathered here today at this moment, let me start this off right. Welcome to the Breakdown. I am De La Clem De La, and this is the Breakdown Show. The reason we are gathered here today is because Trustee Andrew Holmes of Dalton was arrested by the feds, bitch! According to reports. I gotta be quiet. I live in a really quiet neighborhood. This is from the Southland Journal, which is a local publication. It is a journal that focuses on business, politics, and community. I'm going to look at it for now as a blog. Okay, no shade. But as I talked about earlier, we understand the difference between primary, secondary, and tertiary sources. Therefore, we have to have the right perspective when we read material. And for now, I'm going to look at this as a blog, but we're going to celebrate it like some good-ass news. This article was written by Silence Do Good, which is kind of why I'm going to look at it as a blog, because that sounds like a nickname. That doesn't sound like a name on a W-2 for any news house. Or even, independent contractor or freelance writer. That sounds like a stage name, so we'll go with this as a blog for now. Anyway, no shade to it. Just want to see it in perspective. Until we confirm this information, which won't be too hard to do. We'll probably do it during this video. We're going to look at this as a blog. This article was written on March 15th, 2024. And let us read the article. Oh, Jesus, I'm going to need some glasses for this one. Hold on, let me find them. Jesus. That thing is small. Hold on, I know I got something in here somewhere. Where they at? Oh, don't tell me they in. Y'all, I haven't unpacked from my vacation yet. I just texted my neighbor who actually moved away and asked her if her boyfriend could go get my stuff out my car. He moved away too. I just wish it was something I could do. So I'm going to read this the best I can without my glasses on. Ooh, we got technology. Trustee Andrew Holmes of Dalton arrested by the feds, according to reports, in Dalton, Illinois. At least that's where the story comes out of. Trustee Andrew Holmes repeatedly let me slow down. I got too excited. I don't know what the fuck it say. Trustee Andrew Holmes reportedly Oh, that wasn't me. That was them. That's why we're looking at this as a blog, but we just saw a news article from ABC that had the same kind of typo. So I'm going to go ahead and help you out, Sister Do Good. Let me not be shady. I'm grateful for this info. I thought it was me. But I know I can read. Trustee Andrew Holmes of Dalton arrested by the feds, according to reports. Andrew Holmes reportedly turned himself in. I'm guessing that's what that's supposed to say. Turned himself in to the federal authorities at the South Holland police station on an extradition warrant out of Las Vegas. So he was... So he was charged by Las Vegas, which means while she was in Las Vegas, she reported the crime, which is good, which is smart, very smart. She reported the crime in Las Vegas. Now, why the extradition warrant came out now, all of a sudden, when this happened in May 26, on or about May 26, 2023, I see what's happening. It's just time for the hammer to drop. We did read in the letter that was written by the attorneys of PureTech that if Tiffany Henyard, the letter was addressed to Mayor Tiffany Henyard, and I believe it was dated in December. We did read that that attorney stated, if y'all don't pay us, you gonna see yourself on the news a lot. He said it. Go back and watch the video where we talk about, oh God, I wish I could remember the title of it. When the lawyer wrote Tiffany Henyard about the unpaid $65,000 bill for PureTech, which is the company that did the epoxy coating for the skating rink, for the ice skating rink, that has her and her daughter's names on it, but not the Village of Dalton. So obviously Village of Dalton don't owe no money, but Scott Gilmore put in the order. Director Scott Gilmore put in the order. And they said in that letter, I believe it was written in December, they said that the attorney, who I think his name was Daniel Timms, if I remember correctly, he said, if you don't pay this bill, we are going to contact all the news, bitch. Because you got PR. We are attorneys. We have real relationships. Okay? They owe us real favors over at the media. Okay, because we got real clients. So they said that, and it's no surprise all this is happening. So it is also no surprise in the wake of this story with the human rights investigation happening with the state of Illinois Human Rights Commission. Shout outs to the anchor, the journalist, Regina, I forget your last name, that's probably for your protection, who is working on this and has been working on it for the last 6 months. Shout outs to her for bringing this information out. But it looks like the extradition came out of Las Vegas. To continue, I'll show you where I'm at so we ain't all lost. There. There have been many conflicting reports circulating this morning. Several reports have come in that helicopters appearing to be federal authorities have been circulating Thornton Township all morning. Because remember, Andrew Holmes is also employed by Thornton Township. Andrew Holmes, oh yeah, we're going to call this a blog. We're going to have to call this a blog. We have to look at this right now, not yet as news, but as a rumor, because typos speak, baby. We had a rule when I came up. 2 or more typos discredits. Okay? 2 or more typos discredits. Here we go. Andrew Holmes, it says have been accused, but I'm sure that if there was an editor, which you do have when you, what did that say? I don't know what that calendar appointment said that I just threw off. Anyway, when you do have an organization that does release news, there are levels of accountability before that news goes out. You hear me say, I don't know how this made it to the wire. Well, this person who writes this story also has an editor. The editor is the only person in a news house that is able to write a story that never gets edited. And that's why they get a section in the news called an editorial. And you read it as the editor's opinion, not as the news. Usually the editorial back in the day in a newspaper, I'm just going to give you a little backstory so we can talk about this typo and why I said what I said. Because we have to understand the Breakdown Show is about seeing what's put before us and breaking it down. We don't see everything as truth. We break everything down. That's why this is not an interview show. I'm never going to put anybody in a position to have to just take somebody's word for it. We're going to look at things. Okay? And inside of an actual news house, whether it's television or radio or newsprint, which has gone out but needs to come back, especially since you got people still writing. Okay? And you have to differentiate between the news and gossip. A blog is considered gossip. Back in the day, we would have called it a tabloid. But when I would write a story, it had to go to a director over the department of the topic that I was writing about. You saw on Superman, he would bring him in the office and talk to him. He was the editor, but he had people working for him that also edited. Now, after those editors, usually you go back and forth, and you want to make them quick because you want to make your story come out, but it's also got to be correct in all manners. Okay, grammatically, structurally, and the content has to be right. So another editor looks at it. Another editor looks at it. They make all these revisions and changes. It happens all day. That's why the news goes out at a certain time. People are working on these stories all damn day. And the internet is different. People could just release something right now and obviously without any oversight. But those people would make sure this was news, not gossip. They would make sure the information was verifiable. They would make sure it was well written. They would also even make sure that the whatever you were producing wasn't so well written or so well published that it out intellectualized the people who were receiving it. Newspapers and blogs and internet articles are typically written for that of a third grade reading level. And we make sure we keep it that way on purpose so everybody can receive the information, because there are different levels of intellectuality out there. So you don't want to be using all the words and everything. Well, you also want to make sure that it's written in a way that brings credibility to the piece through grammatic correctness. So when I see these multiple typos, we said 2 or more typos discredit. I mean, now we're talking about a blog. We're not talking about something that was probably written in a house with levels and structures of accountability. This was probably something that was written where Sister Do Good is a contributor to this, or probably part owner of this online publication, and she probably didn't have anybody go behind her and edit it. That's why sometimes if you go look at a newspaper or some online articles, you'll see edited by, or at the bottom, such and such editor, because they want to get their credit too. Okay. So from now on, I want to just make sure that we put it in perspective, and no shade to Sister Do Good, but I do want to make sure we put it in perspective that until we can verify this information with an actual credible news house, and we know who they are, we have to see this as a rumor. So we got to bring back our excitement a little bit and just gather the information as it falls. Chew the meat and spit out the bones. So let's start over at the beginning of this paragraph. And I'm going to read through her bad writing. Andrew Holmes has been accused of raping a Dalton employee while on a Las Vegas trip with Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard and several Dalton employees. The complaint regarding the rape indicates that Tiffany Henyard may have attempted to cover up the rape. It is reported that Andrew Holmes bragged about raping the employee, and that Mayor Tiffany Henyard fired the employee. Now, I hope you can tell by the style of the writing and the way that it's written that we are talking about a blog. This is a blog now. So not to discredit it, but we do want to make sure that we don't see this as news. It says the story is developing. Trustee Andrew Holmes of Dalton arrested by the feds, according to reports. Let me see if I can verify this information. Give me 1 second, because that was all I was able to see. Let me go to the actual news tab. So Illinois leaks of Edgar County watchdogs also released something. Let's see. And this is also a blog. Illinois Leaks is also a blog. It's not a news source. So we're still talking about a rumor at this point. And let's just put that in perspective. No shade. Don't get mad. It just is what it is. I will never bring my audience something and not give the whole story, because this is the breakdown. This is not a no judgment zone. We say what we see and we see what we say. And it's not for kids. So if we see that something may not be completely 100% credible, then we're going to mark it as such. Put the little sticky tab on it. It's got an orange mark on it, not a green one. Okay? It's not red. Okay? It is orange. Okay? We're not going to put this in the pile of actual credible news yet. And they confirm their information through Chicago Southland Journal, which is who we just saw, who we just talked to. And their article was written like a blog. It was written like a rumor, and it has some typos. It doesn't have the name of an actual person who you can sue if they committed libel or slander against you. It's not credible. It's not credible. Okay, but we appreciate the information. So this one says Dalton trustee Andrew Holmes arrested in South Holland by John Kraft and Kirk Allen on March 15, 2024. Story comes out of Dalton through ECWD. That's the Edgar County Watchdogs. Dalton Village trustee Andrew Holmes apparently, okay, we're talking blog language. Just want to give us that lesson because that's what we do here. Turned himself in to the South Holland Police Department earlier today. Apparently. We have confirmed. Their confirmation came through the Chicago Southland Journal that hasn't been confirmed. Okay? But it could be true. That Holmes is currently in custody. Trustee Andrew Holmes of Dalton arrested, blah, blah, blah. We read that already. I'm going to read it anyway. Trustee Andrew Holmes of Dalton arrested by the feds, according to the reports. Dalton, Illinois. Trustee Andrew Holmes reportedly, and they edited her quote because her quote, Sister Dogood said, toward himself. They edited her quote. They did not quote her. Edgar County Watchdogs, let me just call you out for that. You did not quote Sister Dogood. Sister Dogood said, Trustee Andrew Holmes reportedly turned himself into the federal authorities at South Holland Police Station on an extradition warrant out of Las Vegas. Where was it? No, not turned himself in. She said toward himself. We can go back to the other article, but that's not what we're here for. I just want to make sure my audience is aware that we may not be talking about news yet. Let's not get too excited. We're using words like apparently. We're not using words like reported to be. There's a difference. Nobody has said he has reportedly turned himself in. No, he hasn't been reported to have turned himself in. He reportedly turned himself in. Sounds very similar, means something different. When something is reported to have happened, you can prove it and it's documented. When something reportedly happened, it's a rumor. Very cute. I know the difference, but let's take the information for what it is. There have been many conflicting reports circulating this morning. So why did you release this then? Now you just got to spin it in confusion. If there have been conflicting reports, we sit on it. That's why I came to y'all live, so we could look at this together. I was excited too, but let's see. Several reports have come in that helicopters appearing to be federal authorities have been circulating Thornton Township all morning. Okay. Now, excuse me, the Southland Journal is live streaming at the South Holland Police Station now. And we're going to click on that. Now, the South Suburban News has also reported that Holmes turned himself into the South. Now, why wasn't that at the beginning of this article? Okay, so now we're talking about the inverted pyramid again, and what's most important being at the top, and what's least important being at the bottom, but that's from the perspective of the writer. Why in the world wouldn't you put this at the top? Because that is the most credible part of this entire piece. The South Suburban News, which is a news house, has also reported that Holmes turned himself in to the South Holland Police Department amid reports that he sexually assaulted a woman. Why the fuck? Oh, Edgar County Watchdog. Jesus, this is not a no judgment zone. I'm going to tell you right now. That was irresponsible. That was irresponsible. Y'all should have put that at the very top and let people go there before you use this blogger's information first. And directed people to her article. That was irresponsible. I don't know what kind of relationship you have with Sister Dogood, but that was irresponsible. Now let me click on this link. Thank you very much for it. Let's see what's popping. Dr. Cornell Darden Jr. was live at Dalton, and it looks like this is on Facebook.
We are at the South Holland Police Station. There are reports that Andrew Holmes was just turned himself in to federal authorities on a rape.
I'm sorry, I can't really hear it. I'm just going to read the comments real quick. Okay, let me go back to the video then.
We're reporting now. We're here. We're live. We have Channel 5 and several other stations here in the parking lot of the South Holland Police Station. We'll keep you updated on what's going on. The
All right.
reports is that
So he doesn't really have anything to share, but thank you very much. And I'm going to also go back. Hold on one second. Let me see. Go back to Illinois Leaks website. Thank you very much for releasing these rumors in the wrong order. You should have put South Suburban News information at the top so we could go straight there, because that's the credible news source. And I'm thanking you so that I could get it off my chest. Okay, let me go here and see if we can find it. Here. Okay, South Suburban News. Is this a blog too? Oh, it's a broadcasting and media company. Oh, your alternative news source. Out of the mainstream reporting on what affects you. But the mainstream reporters, see, the difference is the mainstream reporters all went to school to learn journalism, understand the laws, understand structure, understand angles, understand the laws. So shout outs to mainstream media for keeping it professional. But it looks like South Suburban News is an alternative media source, but they at least know how to make something look like news. Let me go to what they released. It says news alert, but I haven't seen any news houses release it yet. And they have called themselves a news company, but obviously they're not. They're also a blog, but thanks to them. According to reports, Village of Dalton trustee Andrew Holmes has been arrested amid recent reports of sexual assault. Recent reports of a sexual assault claim made by a woman. These allegations came. You see the fucking spell check line. Oh man, y'all. Oh shit. Oh God. This is not a no judgment zone. I'm sorry, I gotta be consistent. This is not a fucking no judgment zone. We done seen typo after typo. We done seen one company correct another company's typos. And now we got the typo on screenshot. Because instead of actually publishing this and saving it or honoring that red squiggly line, as my mother used to call it, she'd tell my daddy, you see the red squiggly line. Why would you ignore it? Jesus. It's more grammatical than anything, but y'all got to be careful. Y'all got to step it up. This is why Tiffany Henyard became the mayor of Dalton. This is why. There is an air of, I'm just going to say it, incompetence and lack of judgment. It's a very small town country bumpkin Mayberry situation, and it's fucking with me. Because I've lived in black cities that look better, that at least look better. Let me finish, because this is stupid. According to reports, he probably did get arrested. Did he get arrested or did he turn himself in? Well, I guess when you turn yourself in, you do get arrested. According to reports, the Village of Dalton trustee Andrew Holmes has been arrested amid recent reports. It's hard to write when people don't. It's hard to read when people don't write. Andrew MBS, you understand where I'm coming from. These allegations, they should have said allegations in honor of the mayor, came to light recently, and she named a trustee in that allegation. This is so horribly written, but I think we get it. I think what they're trying to tell us is that Andrew Holmes went to the South Holland Police Station and turned himself in, and he has been detained, and he is in some sort of custody. All of these news stories are one line long. So we're going to wait until more information comes from somebody who is credible. I don't always bring you the credible first, so my apologies. But I wanted to do this search with you, because sometimes it's a pain in the ass to do this shit by yourself and then have to come to somebody and be like, oh, I wasn't able to verify that, even though there's three stories under the news tab that talk about it. They're just tagged as news. These aren't news houses. I think what we can gather from this little meeting that we've had is we have to be very discerning when it comes to the news that we receive. But also, Andrew Holmes has been arrested. That's all I got. I holla.